And here we go. Good, Longboard said. I thank you for your attention. Go about your business. I will keep you informed as always. Poppy will be so good as to remain. I'd like a private word. He wants to talk to her all by himself. With much excited chatter, the mice scurried off until only Poppy, her parents, and Basil remained. Now, can you tell me what's going on? Basil asked. You're looking really bad. Poppy, trying to find the words to tell her parents about ragweed, had closed her eyes. Oh, look, she's taking a mindful moment. It's like we do, right? She's just like, give me a second. I'm going to need a moment to center myself. Okay. Basil tugged at her. Poppy, did something happen to ragweed? Poppy gave a quick nod. What? Poppy! Her father called from across the parlor. I'm waiting! Poppy opened her eyes, turned to Basil. Stay close, she said to him. I'm going to need you. Slowly, Poppy crept toward her parents. Basil trailed behind. As his daughter approached, Longworth drew himself up with a show of dignity. Well, Poppy, he said, I suppose I should be grateful that you managed to find some time for a family meeting. Papa, Poppy began. You see, and suddenly Sweet Cicely asked, Poppy, what did you do to your nose? It's that we can deal with our nose later, Longworth interrupted. What I wish to say first, Poppy, is that as I made my announcement about the house, you did hear it, didn't you? Yes. When I mentioned making up a delegation to go to Mr. Ocock's, I was saddened that not one of your brethren or sister would look me in the eye. It was as if they were fearful. But you, Poppy, you were steady on the mark. Your eye never wavered. Straight and loyal. I admire that in a young mouse. Oh, all right. I kind of saw her there. That's cool. Therefore, I have selected you by way of a reward, and it's a grand one, isn't it, Mother? Sweet Cicely, brushing her ears, smiled thinly. Right then, Longworth continued. Poppy, I have selected you to go with me to Mr. Ocock's. You what? Poppy cried. I know it's an unlooked-for honor, but you heard me right. You will join me when I go to Mr. Ocock's. But, Poppy tried to find the words, but she could not. But what? But Mr. Ocock's just ate ragweed. Poppy blurted out. There was stunned silence. Stunned. There should have been. Write it down. Stunned. S-T-T. Did I say T-T? I'm wrong. S-T-U-N-N-E-D. Yeah, I'm recording. Hello. Stunned, right? Stunned. S-T-U-N-N-E-D. Stunned. Stunned silence. Stunned. It's like I just can't. It's stunned is like shocked. I'm just shocked. I'm shocked into silence. I cannot do anything. Yeah, stunned means like shocked. I'm stunned. It's like everything freezes. Shocked, frozen. It's like frozen. I'm stunned. I'm stunned into just frozenness. I'm stunned. That's quite an announcement that she made. Quite an announcement.
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys like one more minute.
Okay. 8 ragweed? Sweet Cicely finally gasped, her voice half a gargle, half squeak. Did I hear you correctly? Trying to stop her tears, Poppy nodded. When? Longworth demanded shrilly. How? Why didn't you tell me? I barely got back, Poppy sobbed, and when I walked into the meeting, I just couldn't say. Pawing the tears from her face, she whispered, I couldn't. But to be eaten by Mr. Ocock's, Longworth sputtered, without even informing me. Sweet Cicely suddenly turned on her husband. Oh, stop that, she cried. We need to know what happened. Poppy, go on. Poppy, her heart heavy, stammered. Ragweed and I, last night we went out to Bannock Hill. I mean, we had never been before, and it was such a beautiful summer night, and we thought it would be romantic. It was lovely. And he had just asked me. Poppy paused to look at her parents, certain that they would not be sympathetic, and she decided to skip some parts of her story. Then Ragweed found a hazelnut, she went on, and he loved nuts. So he started to eat it, and I told him that he should get under cover, but he wouldn't listen, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Mr. Okax burst upon us, and I hadn't heard a thing. He was just there. He almost got me too, she added, pointing to her nose with a scratch. But he caught Ragweed, she whispered. It was awful. Sweet Cicely hurried forward, grabbed her daughter, gathered her in her hug, and patted her back. A very uncomfortable lungwort kept clearing his throat and fiddling with his whiskers. And then, Poppy went on once she was sufficiently calmed, when I started back home, Mr. Okax tried to catch me again, but I managed to escape. Lungwort shook his head. Poppy, he intoned, I'm bound to ask, did you go through the proper formalities before going up on the hill? Well, that is we. Come now, Lungwort cried, his agitation bursting out of his anger. Did you ask or did you not ask Mr. Okax for permission to go up there? Answer me! No, Poppy admitted. Well then, Lungwort said, if Ragweed's death can be an object lesson to the rest of the family, perhaps what happened will serve a useful purpose. Good out of bad, so to speak. Ragweed wasn't bad, Poppy objected. I never said he was bad. But without doubt, his thinking was bad. He was rude, he was thoughtless, he was headstrong mouse, not one of ours, may I point out. Indeed, if your friend had followed the rules, if he had accepted things as they are, if he had listened to me, he would be with us today. I warned him. Poppy. Oh, excuse me. Such a short, unhappy life, Sweet Cicely suggested. She sighed. I warned him, Poppy, Lungwort declared. I did. Let no mouse say otherwise. Though he was no son of mine, I did do my duty by him, but he would not pay heed. There should be a lesson learned from this. Poppy tried to protest. But Ragweed and I... Again, Lungwort interrupted. Poppy, two things. First, I want you to go amongst the rest of the family and explain what happened to your unfortunate friend. Be so kind as to point out the cause, that you did not ask permission from Mr. Okax. I desire no such tragedies will befall any one of us. Is that understood? Yes, sir. Second, what I said stands about your coming with me when I request permission from Mr. Okax for a move. Let's hope your presence will convince him that 1, you truly are apologetic for what you have done, and 2, in the future you will ask his permission before venturing anywhere. So saying, Lungwort with one paw about Sweet Cicely went off, leaving Poppy and Basil alone. Poppy looked after them for such a long time that Basil reached out and touched her. Poppy, he asked, are you all right? Basil, Poppy said with a mix of sadness and anger. Ragweed wasn't unhappy or bad. He wasn't. Maybe he was cocky at times, but I loved him for it. I did. Once again, tears trickled down her face. Poppy, Basil asked, are you really going to go to Mr. Okax? I don't think I have much choice, do I? Only I wonder what will happen when he recognizes me. Her cousin's eyes grew wide. Think he will? Poppy pointed to the scratch on her nose. How can he miss? He put this there. The end. I read the whole chapter. It takes forever. Oh my gosh, we're on chapter 5 next time. What? Take a breath. Sometimes when you finish reading something really big, you just have to take a moment. Take a moment, friends. Take a moment. Oh my gosh. All right, close your bookity books. Close your bookity books. You're done with these. You're done with the writing. You can use it later at another time when you choose to have an amazing, juicy word. That felt good. Oh, I'm going to stop record.